Hello, greetings, awesomes. I'm back. So here we're going to talk about Project One. All right. Um, so as you know, you can find Project One on your course resources page here. It's got your syllabus. In addition to or attached to the bottom of the syllabus is the course schedule, as well as there are links to individual pages for the different projects. Of course, obviously, we're doing with Project One. Here's the correspondence portfolio. I don't want to say that it's relatively straightforward, but these are three examples or to varying degrees. We're going to kind of be delivering some quote unquote bad news or perhaps not the best of news. And I think, and of course, obviously, I'm going to kind of think about how we format a business letter in that way. We'll also talk a little bit about the difference between perhaps sending, one as a letter, what should be sent as an email, with email being so prevalent, in place of business letter writing. However, in my daytime job as a content creator and copywriter for a major industrial electronics and automation distributor, the letter is still very, very prevalent. It may be sent as an attachment in an email, as it often is versus folded, printed, folded, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and send it out. The letter is still used as one of the primary ways to deliver, especially if we're talking about the type of correspondence that requires a certain level of professionalism, whereas email has become it's almost like a secondary messaging system in some ways. So we don't want to I don't want to overstate that that letters are they're just, I think, just delivered in a different way. The business letter is still prevalent. The business letter still has a purpose and serves a particular function, especially within business to business writing, especially maybe not necessarily so much B2C or business to customers, but definitely business to business. The letter plays a huge part, as well as your correspondence, even with the business. It could be, from when we get to Project Two, you're going to write your cover letter. That is a very, very important part of applying to positions. And just as well as sometimes your day-to-day business, either with your employer, other businesses, et cetera, et cetera, as these scenarios give us these different options, or present us with these different scenarios as to what would you do, how would you go about presenting information that's perhaps whether, it may not be the greatest news or whether it's bad news, or it could be just sensitive, right? So these three scenarios, I think, I would say they're pretty self-explanatory, right? You work for a company and you've participated, as I've just had to do, even as just the quote unquote, just a copywriter. We hire someone else in our department and someone had to deliver the bad news. So guess who got to write the letter, right? Then we're going to write this one here, we're going to write an email to Mr. Weed to let him know that you will be leaving in 6 weeks. So in this particular case, I still format the email. Well, I might not have some of the particulars in the, the address and stuff like that. The body of it is going to be the same. And then we're going to write a memo to our employees, letting them know of the opportunities of overtime and kind of what the future kind of looks like for Vortex Appliance. But anyway, so we're going to be looking at those obviously this week. This is the one of the examples that for the bad news letter, and we're going to talk a little bit more about these specifically in a forthcoming video. But the buffer, start off with something positive. You kind of like usher someone into the conversation versus just starting right off and just saying, boom, here's the thing, right? We're going to provide some information. It doesn't have to be, as you can see here, it's kind of short and sweet, to the point. We don't have to belabor the issue. We're not trying to. You certainly don't want to come across as trying to be subversive or trying to hide it, but you want to provide reasons. So we'll go into those in a little greater detail. So your business letter writing resources. So I've got a sample, business letters here, and I'm going to have a memo. I can't seem to find the same memo thing, but anyway, I'll get the memo one up here. So here's just so the first one is a letter, right? So you basically start with your address, there at the date, their address, to whom it's going to, 2-3 short paragraphs, sincerely, and boom. So that's the business letter. The email obviously is a little bit more self-explanatory. Memos, pretty straightforward, but we'll get into those a little bit more as we kind of move forward. And of course, you'll put those together just all in one file. So you'll have your business letter, the to and the from, and then everything written out, and then your email. And don't forget, with an email, you need a subject line. And then your memo would be to, from, date, and subject. And we'll go into a little bit more detail with those in the next video as well, as we dive into kind of the structure of like an introduction that kind of has a buffer, as we talked about, right? And then reason, bad news, and closing. And we'll talk about those. And of course, I'll come back with you, of course, and we'll talk a little bit more about the peer review coming up. Okay, almost at the end of 5 minutes. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you're having a good day.